As a Jewish woman, I'm unable to understand the reason for the constant hate and unbelievable anti-Semitism that is erupting around our world. Can you please explain to me why the Jewish people are singled out throughout history, and why have other nations and people continued to call for our extermination to this day? What am I not seeing or understanding? What is the source of such hate and false narratives? From my perspective, the Jewish people enhanced the world, developed, contributed, created, etc. Why is the world so fixated on a group of people that only has 15.5 million in number? Who are the Jewish people from your perspective?
All right, now this is a deep subject, so we will take our time with this. You're not the only group, of course, that has experienced persecution. That's number one. But the reasons for it in your particular culture are generally as follows, if you can follow along with this and understand what we are saying. Long ago, as we have discussed, there was a group of extraterrestrials that you refer to as the Anu, or the Anunnaki, that inserted their genetic material into the early hominid species you know as Homo erectus and Neanderthals and so on and so forth to create Homo sapiens. The bloodlines of those extraterrestrials are sometimes stronger in certain groups than others, where they may not have been quite as diluted. The Jewish people in general carry some of the stronger bloodlines all the way back to the idea of the Anunnaki. Now, those that are out of touch, those that are not consciously aware of all of this going on, still have a subconscious or an unconscious recognition of the vibration of that bloodline in the Jewish people. And they recognize it in a way that is based on a negative connotation, that they were manipulated and controlled by the idea of that ancient extraterrestrial race in creating Homo sapiens as a workforce to help them do certain things. And so, in a sense, it can be experienced by certain people in a fearful way as slavery. Therefore, unconsciously and subconsciously, by feeling the vibration of that bloodline in the Jewish people that has been preserved over time by certain events, such as wandering in the desert for 40 years and isolating them from the rest of society for the span of time that represents a transformation in human culture, that remained the bloodline to be relatively clean and clear, genetically speaking, then they pick up on that vibration that you are still very close to the vibration of the Anunnaki who suppressed them and controlled them. And they have an unconscious resentment to that and react to that and have a fear about the idea that they're going to be controlled again in the same way. So it's a very ancient thing that exists within the survival mechanisms of human beings in their limbic system that picks up on that vibration of the ancient extraterrestrial genes that exist within that culture that they are very, very afraid of and haven't come to terms with yet consciously in your society. We hope you understand this explanation. Of course, there is a lot more detail to it, but we do not have time in this transmission to go that deeply into it. So we will trust that this will suffice for now.
Thank you. The
This
title
is, this is approaching the end of the questions for this particular transmission.
is
Therefore, we will at this time suggest that you now allow yourselves to end the questions and move forward with the idea of the remainder of this transmission and balance and center yourselves in the understanding of the steps we are now delivering to all of you that can, if you so desire, to participate in them, help refine your vibrations specifically and tune your vibrations specifically to the vibration of the interstellar alliance and open contact. So, open yourselves up and breathe at this time. Now, if everyone will please relax, breathe, and allow yourself to disengage and go into that state of ecstatic neutrality just by continuing to breathe deeply and easily. Create whatever accompaniment to this you wish, visually or auditorily, doesn't matter. But allow yourself to continue to breathe. And in this meditative state that you are now approaching, allow yourself to experience that the core idea between the steps that we are now transmitting to you, steps 1 and steps 2, the primary component is the idea of disengaging into neutrality, of going to that center, balanced place where you allow yourself the opportunity to feel your true, authentic soul, your true self, and to just be in that, to let go of the idea, for now, of socialization and all the things that you are engaged in typically on a day-to-day basis with the people, family, friends, society that you often engage with, for now. And just to allow yourself the space to feel your authentic self. Because once you then feel your authentic self, once you begin to know your true authentic vibration, your true essential self, then you can re-engage as more of an authentic being. And again, the re-engagements will be different. You will be re-engaging with others, family, friends, society in a different way, but you will be a living example, vibrationally speaking, to them of how they may engage with themselves as well. You will be inspired to communicate in different ways. You will be inspired to say certain things that might turn their minds in different directions. Again, without an agenda to do so, but you will be coming from more of an authentic frequency. And they will pick up on it, whether they are afraid and react, or whether they are enjoy and accept it and invite more in, is up to them, because you have no agenda as your authentic self, because you know that they are, like you, indestructible beings, indestructible eternal spirits. And they will either choose to get it or they won't. And that is none of your concern. So the idea now is to focus in step 1 and step 2 with the suggestions we have made to become your neutral, authentic self, to let go of any addictions to the concepts that are presented to your public in conspiracy theories, in religious thought, in sociological thought, in political thought, in economic thought. Just for now, let it all go and just neutralize yourself and just be the being you are, without connection, without concern to those issues in society. For now, you are in your own society of spirit. You are your soul. Remember, you don't have a soul. You are a soul. If anything, a soul has a body. A body does not have a soul. The body is a focused point within the soul. Imagine a sphere of energy as the soul. And imagine that a part of it has concentrated itself down. Not the whole thing. The sphere is still there. The spirit is still there. But it has taken certain attributes within itself and it has compressed them into the center of its being like a small, hard pellet, a small, hard seed, a small, hard sphere at the very heart of the bigger, non-physical energy sphere. And that small, hard pellet is the physical personality, is the physical experience, is the physical reality that the soul is having, is the body, the physical mind, the physical body that the soul is having, that is contained within the soul. So the greater sphere, the non-physical energy sphere, is still there, a sphere of light, glowing light. And it has taken certain elements, certain patterns within itself, and pushed them down to the center and focused them at the center of that bigger sphere. As a tiny little sphere, a tiny little atom, a subatomic particle. And that subatomic particle, that little hard seed, is the compressed, contained, and focused physical reality. And so when you expand your consciousness, you are taking that hard little sphere at the center, that hard little seed, and you are relaxing it and opening it up and letting it expand and become more and more transparent, less and less substantive, as it expands back outward to the fullness of the energy sphere, to become the soul, the higher mind, the true self. That is death. It is that expansion, that letting go of the focus, of the hardness, of that core, that seed, and softening and softening and softening, and expanding outward back to the original diameter of the energy sphere. And as you do this, allowing yourself to imagine the sphere, the energy sphere, focusing down to the physical seed, the hard core, the subatomic particle, and then expanding back out, loosening and letting go, and expanding back out and becoming the energy sphere, and then going back down and coming back out, going back down and coming back out. Doing this meditation of focusing down to the physical and expanding back to the energy, to the non-physical, doing this in and out is like breathing. And with every breath, you experience the physical body, the physical mind, and every exhalation, the spirit self, the authentic self, the true self, the essential frequency. In and out. It is the breathing of the cosmos, the breathing of your authentic self. And you can become used to the idea of getting used to the frequency of your spirit, the frequency of your higher self, and not be afraid to expand. Allow yourself this opportunity to do this exercise, and allow yourself to experience the neutrality of this creation, that it serves your purposes, that it serves your choices, that it gives you the lessons to allow you to grow in and out, in and out, in and out, between softness and hardness, the true self and the subatomic particle, the all that is and the focused self, and all in between. Allow for that flexibility, that expansiveness, that concentration, and the focus, used for your own purposes, used as a tool, but capable of being expanded at any moment that you're willing to be, and remember what it feels like to be your authentic, neutral self, your true self, your spirit self. Breathe with this in and out. Do the steps to whatever degree you are willing to participate. We make no insistence, no assumption, and no agenda. And at the same time tell you, just because what you put out is what you get back, that is the law, that the degree to which you choose to participate is the degree to which you align with our particular interstellar alliance and the concept of open contact in this interstellar alliance social experiment, and the steps we will deliver over the course of the orbit around your star. We thank you, our unconditional love to you all. Keep breathing. Keep being your authentic self. Aveo. This time, for the Interstellar Alliance ID card that you can put into your computers and can fill out and present, again, where appropriate, alongside your regular identification cards in certain situations. So, Nania, are you ready to read step 4?
Interstellar Alliance Social Experiment, Step 4. Copy the Interstellar Alliance ID card on page 2 into your computer, add your color photo, and fill out the remainder of the card by typing or hand printing the region, city, and your name. Then add your signature under the photo. The photo should be similar to a passport, driver's license, or other typical ID card photo. Have the completed card printed in color on heavy paper stock, such as 80 or 100-pound stock. It should be printed out in the dimensions of a standard credit card or business card, 3 3/8 inches by 2 1/8 inches. Cut the card out and carry it with you at all times, just as you would any other ID card. Present the Interstellar Alliance ID card along with your regular ID card when ID is required and where appropriate, in order to establish familiarity with Interstellar Alliance ID cards in the general public over time. If asked what it is, remember to simply state that the card is part of a social experiment in which you are participating. If they wish to know more, please refer them to the Bashar.org website, where they can find the streaming event recordings that present the different steps of the Interstellar Alliance social experiment. In completing the Interstellar Alliance ID card, regions are as follows: North America, Central America, South America, Europe, Asia, Australia, Africa, Pacific territories, Atlantic territories, Antarctica. The city category can be cities, towns, villages, or established communities. States or provinces are recognized as local geographical areas and not as political entities by the Interstellar Alliance. This information will help you in filling out the Interstellar Alliance identification card. Thank you.
Thank you, Nania. So, the idea is to begin breaking down some of the borders between certain kinds of political distinctions, starting to expand and broaden the idea of the different regions on your planet, more geographically than politically, and to start understanding that you are a citizen of the Earth, as well as a citizen of the Interstellar Alliance, to start thinking more globally. And again, the presentation of this card, along with your regular ID cards, can allow your public in general to become more familiar with this social experiment through a device such as ID cards that they are familiar with seeing every day all over your planet. So if you present them where appropriate in conjunction with the other ID cards, just as a presentation, you can pique other people's curiosity about it. You can, in that way, get them to start researching what this is all about and deciding whether or not to join this social experiment if they think it would be fun. Again, stressing that this is a social experiment. It is not meant to usurp anything on your planet, to replace anything on your planet in anyone's mind, but to join with it, to be in addition to it, so that the changeover, shall we say, from one particular political perspective, the one that you have been using for thousands of years, can shift to a more global perspective, a more interstellar perspective, and allow humanity, at whatever pace you are comfortable with participating in, to become Homo Galacticus. So we thank you for those who are willing to participate in this fun experiment, this part of the social experiment, and we encourage you to use it in a playful way, to keep it light, and to remember to follow the other steps as well at the same time. We will be taking a break from the steps next time and delivering a different bit of information to all of you so that you can take the time to absorb the first 4 steps before we continue on to the 5th step and beyond. So, we will be giving you more information about the relationship between the physical mind, the soul, and the oversoul, so that you can gain a different perspective of the relationship between those 3 levels of consciousness and how it relates to your experience of physical reality and your experience of space and time. After that, we will continue to deliver additional steps, taking breaks along the way where appropriate, again to give you time to absorb the information and come to terms with exactly how involved you wish to be in this social experiment, and allow your vibrational frequency to change over time at a rate and a pace that is comfortable for you if you have decided to participate. We thank you for allowing us to share this new aspect, this 4th step of the Interstellar Alliance social experiment, this day of your time. And in return for the gift you are giving us in allowing us to play with you, we ask, how may we now continue to be of service to you as well? Please begin